all creative people can be creators, but not all creators should be content creators. The best designers don't start from the tool. They don't start from Figma. They don't start from Adobe. They start from asking why. I remember my first job, my first full-time job, I was offered a role and I was offered salary. I went into the CEO's office and I said to him, this money is not going to be enough for me. Designer Babe does all of these things, from teaching to creating opportunities for people to meet, to connect with each other. Ours is more than a project at this point. That's my life's work. Everything that I have been doing for the last couple of years has led me to this moment. In 2 years' time, it's going to look really amazing.
We need to watch this space.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You don't necessarily need to wait for opportunities to find you. You have the autonomy and the agency to create those opportunities for yourself. I do love to enjoy my life. I do love to look great, and I also am great at my job. So I need to show that these two things can exist, simultaneously. I could wake up 12 midnight on a random Tuesday and I will make the best fried rice you've ever eaten in your life. I'm the person that I am today because I have never waited for permission. Never.
Hi neighbors, welcome back to Stories Next Door. I'm your host, Jeicy Joyce. Today I have a special guest in the pod. The reason I say she's a special guest is because I rarely speak to female founders. And I am so excited for her to share our inspirational journey, but probably we could learn a thing or two of how she did it and what she's currently doing right now. Now, I met her a few weeks ago, and when I met her, I said, you know what? I need to bring her on the pod. Mitch, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
How was your travels?
It was great. Not too long. Just relaxed. Coming here to talk, to converse. So I was looking forward to it.
Same. Honestly, we've been booking this for quite some time.
I know. I was really looking forward to it because the last one I was looking forward to it as well. But I think this is the perfect time because at the time I was in the middle of something big. So it's better to do it now than to delay is not denial.
Yes. So I've obviously said that you are a female founder. But before we jump into that, I know that you love cooking.
Yes.
Yeah. To make.
Good question. I do love a fried rice, and it's a dicey one because as a Nigerian, it's usually fried rice or jollof rice, and people always go for jollof rice. But I think fried rice, when you do it specially, you add all your love and care, it comes out like really amazing, So I love doing a fried rice. I could wake up 12 midnight on a random Tuesday and I will make the best fried rice you've ever eaten in your life.
Do you have fried rice in Nigeria? Like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a thing.
Yeah, we don't have fried rice in Tanzania.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have like pilau and like normal white rice. But fried rice is like a foreign concept.
It is. But fried rice, Nigerian fried rice is, you can have liver in it, vegetables as well, like carrots, green peas. I usually make mine with some coconut milk. Just put like a base underneath. When people taste it, like, why does this taste like there's coconut milk there?
Yeah, yes. So where did the love of cooking come from?
So my mother she is a nutritionist, right? And so I grew up with cooking wasn't even a hobby while I was growing up. It was more like it was very formal, right? Because she was also teaching, right? So I would follow her to invigilate exams and things like that. So I learned cooking from things have to be like this perspective, But then that also made me conversant with nutrition. So it's you're not just eating because you have to eat, you're eating because you need to refresh your body. But then when I was growing up, I wasn't cooking that much until I became, an adult, right? And when you live in a country like this and you have just access to either takeout or random things, I guess you have to go back to the drawing board.
Of course. You have to, because eating out is so expensive.
It's expensive, and you also don't get like the best things that you could possibly eat. So now I don't eat out. I cook 99% of my food. It does take time, but I feel like it's one of the things that I do to refresh myself, especially as a founder, when you have like lots of things that you are doing. When I'm cooking, I'm just taking time out of technology, design, and all of that, and just spending time doing something that is coming back into me. So yeah, it's really my mom that influenced it,
Yeah.
but she's always surprised. She's like, I don't know why you cook this much because you didn't used to cook when you were young. I'm like, oh, please leave me.
Yes, yeah. I guess it's that moment in time. So for someone who doesn't know Mitch, what are 3 words that would describe you?
For someone who doesn't know me, let me see. I have a great sense of humor. I'm very funny. And I think I also express that in the way that I share things out online. I'm a great dancer.
Is that Afrobeats or any type of genre?
Anything. I love movement. So I'm barely, in fact, if you look at me, I'm moving like moving. I'm barely still. So I'm always dancing. I dance to relieve stress. I dance to think. So yeah, not cooking, dancing, and what did I say first? Sense of humor. And the third thing is I get anything that I want.
Oh, I love that.
Anything that I want, I have it already.
Yeah,
I just have to walk to it.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
I love that. You have to put it in the air.
Exactly.
Yes. So you're a founder.
Yes.
Talk us up through what inspired you to get into that founding journey, because I speak to a lot of founders, and some of them were inspired by their parents, some of them because they went to business school and they saw what their peers are doing and they decided to get into founding. What was that first initiative for you to say, you know what, this is the route that I want to take and not necessarily corporate?
Yeah. It didn't start for me as a founding thing, right? It started with curiosity for me because as a designer, my background started from product design, which is designing software products for tech companies. And as far back as 2016, 2017, in Nigeria, because I grew up in Lagos, right? Design wasn't, it's not still as popular in quotes as software engineering, right? So you can imagine what it looked like 10 years ago. So I started design and I was learning it by myself, and there was no one putting anything out there telling us what you needed to do, how you needed to follow the journey. And I said, I'm going to take it upon myself. I'm going to just share what I am learning. And you start sharing online, and then next thing, people are looking to you for inspiration. People are looking to you for their next steps, right? And you do that over and over again. And next thing is no longer just 3 months, it's now 6 years that you've been doing that. So when I started, I didn't start off thinking I didn't have business background in terms of founding a company or anything like that. It really was just born out of a strong desire to create something that needed to exist. And which is, I think, one of the things that is my strengths right now, because I did the things that a lot of people who start companies, for example, need to go back to start doing, which is building a community, which is sharing what you're learning, which is creating content, which is creating educational resources. Those were the things that are my foundation. And then it now put me in a position where now being a founder is inevitable, because you already have the other things that people are looking for. So it's like, okay, why not? Yeah. So for me, it was just I was just inspired to share, and yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, well, you are one of the OGs of Instagram, actually.
Yes, I am.
I remember back in the day, you used to post videos.
Yeah.
So, Designer Babe.
Yes.
Okay, that name itself.
I know.
It's giving energy.
I know.
Okay, where did that name come from?
Oh, great question. I don't really answer that a lot. So when I started design, like I mentioned, I used to call myself, I used to say I'm a designer and a babe, because then you would hear a lot of people, you hear people say they are software this, code that, right? But for me, it's not designer babe as in a woman who is a designer. It's designer babe as in I'm a designer and being a babe is my lifestyle. I mean, as you can see.
Of course, yeah, soft life. Uh-huh.
Exactly. So that was just what it was. I was just like, I'm a designer and I'm a babe. So I would always try to share, because another misconception is when you're a woman in technology, you need to look a certain way. If you're not looking like you are stressed out by everything happening in the world, then you're not giving the respect that you're supposed to be accorded, right? But for me, it's I do love to enjoy my life. I do love to look great. And I also am great at my job. So I need to show that these two things can exist, simultaneously. And then I had a one of the OGs as well in the tech industry, Prosper. I reached out to him for something, I think I was asking him for visa processing or something like that. And because I had been calling myself a designer, a babe, he responded to me as designer babe.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to keep that. But it wasn't until like maybe a year or two, a year after that, that I wanted to now actively start sharing online. And I was thinking, okay, what do I call myself now that I'm sharing online? And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call myself designer babe. So
Yeah.
that was literally how it started.
Yeah. Now, obviously, that's a fantastic name. What does Designer Babe do?
What does designer babe do? I'm an educator at the heart of everything, because I did start by teaching, right? So I host courses, I host classes, I do workshops for both individuals and tech companies as well, or product teams. I'm also an author. I've authored 2 books. My first book, Clueless to Designer, has sold over 5,000 copies now. I have lots of people who have read the book and are now designers because they read that book. I have another book called the Dear Designer Write Journal that is essentially just helping designers and people, I think what makes it a very different type of journal is that you're not just writing, I'm also educating within the book because like I said, I'm a teacher.
You're
right?
educator.
Yeah, so at the heart of everything, I'm always teaching one thing or the other. Designer Babe is also a producer, so I host festivals and events. I have my YouTube as well. We're bringing up like more shows, and like you said, I'm usually on
Yes,
this
you're
other
usually
side.
on this side. Yes.
Publications, and yeah, I'm also a founder. So Designer Babe does all of these things, from teaching to creating opportunities for people to meet, to connect with each other, because I think one of the most important things about Designer Babe is showing that you don't necessarily need to wait for opportunities to find you. You have the autonomy and the agency to create those opportunities for yourself. So that is literally what Designer Babe means to a lot of people, because Designer Babe is able, and I mean by saying that I am able to, show people that life and opportunities are within our own, capacity, and we can create what we want to put in the world. So yeah, I'm all of that and more, but for the sake of this.
Yes, and more. And I love that. You're doing great things, right? I love the fact that you're an educator, right? And you say that your book inspired people, but you inspire those people, their lives were changed, but in reality, it's not just their lives.
Never just their lives.
It's just not their lives. So you're impacting many lives within their community, which I find that such a blessing. So you said you're doing a lot of things. Do you have a defining moment that, because you're also very confident, which I love, I admire that. Is there a defining moment in your life which identifies who you are right now?
I would say there are many, but when I think of where I am right now and everything that makes me the person I am, I would say when I wrote my book, Clueless to Designer, I wrote that book with maybe about 2,000 people following me across social media, which in the grand scheme of things is a very small number, right? And I didn't write it because I wanted to position myself as an authority. I wrote it because I wanted to share something. People had been asking me questions. How do I get into design? What is a designer? And all of those things. And I said, okay, you know what? Instead of doing an article, because I'd been writing articles prior to that, I was going to do it in a book because Beyonce, who is my icon, would always do the extra, right? So I'm like, what would Beyonce do? She would probably write a book. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to write a book. And writing that book changed my life because it first showed me my potential outside just sharing things online. It showed me that I could definitely put my expertise, put my knowledge together and be able to impact another life outside the online community. And initially, I wanted to give the book out for free. That was one of my plans. I was like, I'm just going to write it and just give it out for free. But then when I finished writing the book, I said, this thing took me a lot of work. I'm not just going to give it out for free. But I wasn't at a position where I wanted to sell it for like an exorbitant price. So I think it was 3,000 naira. 3,000 naira is literally about £2 or so right now. And at that time, it was even not even as valuable as it is. So it was very affordable. I said, okay, you know what? It's better for people to be able to pay something, because when people are able to give something, no matter how small it is, they value it because they are also putting their own skin in the game, right? So lots of people bought it, and I made a considerable amount of money. And instead of keeping that money, I bought laptops with all of the money, and I gave those laptops to people, right? And now when I look back, that was literally how things started to progress, because people who got laptops from that initiative were giving laptops back at the last festival that we had in December. And this is in the space of 3 years, So I think for me, if I didn't write Clueless Design, I wouldn't have known the possibilities of my potential. And I wouldn't also have been able to impact people in the way that people have been impacted. And right now, it's a ripple effect, because when it has to do with careers is not just about it's not the everyday thing. When you're changing someone's life through their career, you are giving them earning power, right? And what earning power does for a person, what earning power does for a community, a family, you're literally impacting generations, like you said, so it's endless at this point. And now it's built my confidence, because I know that no matter how much I may be undermined, in the unlikely case that I'm undermining what I'm doing, I know that there would always be someone who needs whatever it is that I have to share. If Michelle could do this in 2019, what can Michelle in 2025 do? So
Yes.
I'm constantly inspired.
And where does the kindness, the givingness come from?
My mother.
Yes.
My mom can give things. Oh my God. As you're giving her this thing, she's giving, if anything to two, and giving another person and giving another person. And I think it's just really the way that I was raised. I wasn't raised with everything, but I was raised with enough. And in that enough, I could also see that it was always more than enough, right? So regardless of what I need, there's always something that I have that someone else might need more at every given time, right? And growing and getting to the point that I am right now, I've also had to teach myself that you don't have to give till you're dry, because even right now, even when I'm not giving financially, I'm constantly giving my energy. I'm constantly thinking of how to give more, whether it's in the things that I'm teaching, whether it's in the products that I'm creating. I mean, I literally just launched a company yesterday to give even more.
Yes.
But I think the hand of a giver would always be above, right? The hand of the receiver will always be beneath. And that is something that I always remind myself, regardless of what it is, I always want to be here as opposed to just being here. So I don't think I'm going to stop giving anytime soon.
No, I love that. I think giving is the secret to success.
Yeah.
Because, so many people would think, look, why give? Why give? But in reality, impacting someone's life in a positive way, I don't know, but I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
And that is, in the eyes of the Lord, that is very positive.
Yes.
So the abundant blessings will definitely fall upon you.
Exactly. As right now, there's some things I can't trace anymore. When you think of immeasurable success and immeasurable grace, I just don't know how some things happen anymore. And my best friend always have to remind me, like, Mitch, you've planted seeds for years, so allow yourself to receive the fruits, even if you cannot see exactly where the seed was planted, because that is the point of planting and sowing a seed. In years' time, those things are supposed to grow, and when they spread across the earth, then it means that you're also going to receive across the earth, but it's not good to give just thinking that you are doing something to get something back in return. Because you would not always get back from where you give, but the act of giving is going to create something somewhere else. But if you think that, if I give to this person, you're going to get exactly back, then you're literally limiting the possibility that you should be creating for yourself.
So let's talk about Black women in tech. There isn't many Black women within the tech industry. What challenges have you faced while building your company?
Should I start? Oh my goodness. I think one of the there is a constant underestimation, regardless of what you have to offer, regardless of how much you've done, right? So I've experienced this for years. I've been in this career for almost 10 years now, right? And I cannot say for one day that in any company that I have worked or any place where I have collaborated with people, that it wasn't just a sense of, does she know what she's doing? Whether or not I come with all the portfolio, and all the track record, someone is still questioning my ability. And it's really heartbreaking because before I even get into a space or before I even get into a room, chances are that I have worked more harder than every other person there, but it still feels like I have to constantly prove myself. But I learned early not to prove myself, so now I don't prove myself. I am not in the business of proving myself to people, especially naysayers. The only thing that I can do is keep my commitments, keep my promises, and ensure that the work that I'm doing has value. Any other person is inconsequential, and I think that is a very important thing for especially Black women to learn when they are building their careers, because if you told the threads of wanting to prove yourself, you will never be able to prove yourself to everyone, because people would always have negative things to say. People would always undermine you. But what they cannot do is to argue with facts, right? So your only business should be creating the facts, doing the things that you've said you would do. If you say you're going to wake up at 7, wake up at 7. It's as simple as that sometimes. It might not just be you have to do a big company or create something large or whatever. If you're going to, reply someone at 5, reply someone at 5, because that's what builds the momentum. That's what builds your own, resilience to be able to say, yes, when I have a bigger thing that I'm going to do, then if I say I'm going to do that thing, and I'm going to do that thing. So even now that I have launched a new company and people are asking, oh, this technology, it doesn't work, this technology, they're all having like different opinions. I can't argue with you. What I know is that I would do and now that I have said I'm going to do it, I have to do it.
Yes.
Do you get what I mean? And I have my own track record as a shield for myself, right? So constant, undermining your work, constant there are so many unders, for lack of a better word. There's undermining, underestimation, but you can always rise above those things and just really focus on your strengths, right? Focus on the things that you want to do. And at some point it's undeniable, and really no one can argue with greatness that is pure and
which they can see it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a room and you experienced imposter syndrome?
Not particularly, because I feel like every room that I'm in, I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's my time.
It's my time, yeah.
So you build a community for Designer Babe, right? What is the vision, or what was the vision for Designer Babe when you first started?
Really just to teach people and share my journey, right? But the thing about building a community is you can't argue with authenticity. You have to be real, So no matter how, even if your realness is fake, but it needs to be real to people. Do you get what I mean? And for me, I just try to share as much as I can and make people understand that there's some things that I post online that people are like, oh, why are you posting that? But people need to see, because there's a certain way I carry myself and there's a certain way I carry my work, right? And I make things look super easy because I come and I'm like, oh, I've done this big flashy thing. It's like, oh, maybe I can also do this big flashy thing. But I also try to share that thing took me sleepless nights to create. You might see it in the finished product, but doesn't negate the fact that I took 24 hours.
People don't see that.
Thinking about that, So it's very important to share those things to people. The challenges that I've experienced, I look at the things and I say, okay, maybe I cannot share this, I can't share this, but I can share this, right? And that is what connects people. That connection comes from someone seeing themselves in you and seeing that, oh, if Mitch, if DB can experience this and overcome this, then it means that the possibility for me also exists, right? I can also experience and I can also overcome it, right? So the big vision for Designer Babe it wasn't like a grand vision, like I mentioned. It was just really let me start sharing my journey and let's keep going and let's keep saying. But right now, the vision is so big.
It's so big to handle.
It's so big.
Yes. So you spoke about authenticity.
Yeah.
Yeah, you spoke about authenticity. How do you manage to stay authentic in a world full of AI?
Good question. I think with AI is an asset, right? More than anything, and at the end of the day, the things that will still differentiate you are your purpose, right? Once you're able to, because AI is garbage in, garbage out. It's as simple as that. So if your purpose is not unique to you, then the outputs from AI is not going to be unique to you. So that is literally the secret of everything. You need to have your purpose is your differentiating factor. And what creates purpose, it's still the things that you expose yourself to, right? Two of us can give AI the same thing to do for us, but what AI is going to tell us individually would differ because what makes you you, the things that inspire you. Maybe, for example, we both want, for example, now maybe Mid Journey to create an image of something. If you tell Mid Journey, oh, create an image for maybe a poster or something like that, and you say, oh, maybe you should refer to a mythology, like a Greek mythology, right? And I say to Mid Journey, refer to Roman Empire, the output will be different. And the reason I would say refer to the Roman Empire is possibly because maybe I watched a movie, maybe I watched 300 yesterday.
Yes.
And you watched something on the Greek mythology yesterday, So that is how you stay authentic because you are still consuming things that are unique to you. And that is what makes you you. And it's your own unique proposition that you share with AI that makes AI give you the best outputs that it can. It can, right? So I do not, in fact, I do not think that we are in a position where AI can really supersede anyone, human beings, because AI doesn't really have, it doesn't have that discernment, that discernment is, it doesn't come from AI, it comes from us as humans. So people still need to feed themselves with things that are outside artificial intelligence. I was thinking about it yesterday that, oh my God, I don't really have time for movies anymore. And I think I mentioned a movie just now
Yes,
because
yeah.
last night, one of the things I wanted to do was to watch the movie Focus. I used to watch movies a lot, but now I read more. And I was just like, oh my God, I haven't had time to watch movies. But the things that you watch, the art that you expose yourself to, the music that you listen to, the books that you read, all of those things compose who you are as a person.
Yes.
Right? And that is still what you're going to share. So even if you're saying to, for example, ChatGPT, write XYZ for me, your purpose, your why would be your differentiator. Always.
I love that explanation. Honestly, I've never heard it being defined like that. That what you consume is obviously, I never really thought about it. That you will probably have the same prompt,
Yeah.
right? But your definition of that prompt will be different to
Yeah.
mine. So we are still staying relevant, staying authentic
Exactly.
to ourselves. So you spoke about curating festivals, right? So the initiatives that you've done with the festivals, what impact has it created so far?
The Global Creative Festival. Oh my God. It started as wine and design in 2022. I need my community to come together. Let me share. I had just moved to the UK maybe like a year prior. And I was like, oh my God, I have experienced so many things in 1 year. I need to share it with them. So I went back home and I created an opportunity for all of us to gather. I shared my experience and it was inspiring. By 2023, at least 70% of the people who were at that event in 2022 now live in the UK. At least. I'm telling you.
Wow.
I'm telling you. I am telling you. It's so
Yes.
crazy, but that's literally the truth. I look at the
Yes.
pictures now and I'm like, this one is in UK, this one is in here, this one is here. They literally not, because when I went back again last year and I had over 300 people in Lagos last year, maybe about 5, 6, 7 people were people who were in the one that I did in 2022. That is literally, in fact, how else can I explain the impact to you?
Yeah, that is a 360.
Yeah.
So obviously it's a lot of people that you're helping, right?
Yeah.
Tell me one story or two, if you can, that you've heard that someone coming to you and saying, Mitch, because of you, this ABCD happened.
Yeah.
Can you share something like that with us?
So there's a particular lady, Mayokun. She's one of my favorite mentees, and She reached out to me in 2021. I had just moved here when she reached out to me, just saying to me that she had read my book, Clueless to Designer, and she had started her design journey and she had gotten a remote job. And I encouraged her. In fact, I shared that book. I even need to text her, just remembering now. I shared that book online and literally I shared her story online and it's literally spiked my sales because I wasn't just sharing about a random book. I was literally showing people that someone who read the book came back to me to tell me that they had just gotten a job, like an international job a few days ago. But it didn't end there. She kept like keeping up with me. Next thing she moved from the company that she was in to another company. And then she worked at Flutterwave, which was the company that I was working at. And she would text me occasionally just saying to me that, oh, DB, your legacy is still living here. Like the things that you worked on were still having access to those things. Anyway, fast forward, she was also at that event in 2022, July. By 2024, she had moved to the UK. And then in 2022, she attended the event as an attendee. You know, she was just one of the people who were there. As of 2024, I had an AI exhibition here in London last year, April, and she volunteered for that event, right? So she worked with me on the event. By December 2024, last year, she came back from London to Nigeria to speak at the festival in Abuja.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
Yeah. She literally was the keynote speaker at our Abuja event. And people were asking her there, like, oh, what's the secret? What can you do? She literally put a picture of my book. She said, this is it too.
This is all.
You are in the place that I was,
Yes.
Anything Designer Babe says to you, please listen to her.
Yes. So for someone who is looking to transition to product design, but who is from a non-traditional background, so obviously they don't know any STEM subjects, what advice would you give them?
Be curious. Mm-hmm. You have to be extremely curious because the best designers don't start from the tool. They don't start from Figma. They don't start from Adobe. They start from asking why. And you will keep asking why regardless of how far you go in your journey, right? And you're not just asking why to yourself. You're going to be asking why to the people you collaborate with. When product managers bring some certain things that you need to design, you need to be able to ask them why that thing is important, right? Because if you do not know your why, you wouldn't know the purpose, like I mentioned, of doing that thing. And it's until you know the purpose of something, that's when you're able to find the best solutions to it. Because a lot of people know how to output. Oh, this is what I've been told to do, then I'm going to do exactly so. But if you're able to question things and say, why am I doing this? And you're able to find out why, then you would realize that there is no one way to kill a fish, right? You'll be able to figure out, okay, if it cannot work this way, then maybe I can try this other way. Maybe I can try this other way, right? So stay curious, document everything. Everything. Like, you can't document enough because documentation is a way of communicating with the future. Anything you do not document does not exist. Literally.
Especially in the world that we live now.
As I was even coming, I had to take a picture because I was like, let me actually know that I came here. If you don't document things, it doesn't exist. So the conversations that you're having, even if it's not for yourself, for the next person who is going to pass through where you have passed through, let them see that these are the reasons that you made the decision that you have made, right? And it can also improve their work and it can also improve their output, right? So, and even if it's not for those people, even if it's just for your own personal record, because you're going to be creating portfolios. And a lot of designers make the mistake, even me, I've made that mistake myself when I was starting my journey, to wait until a certain day to create my portfolio. But your portfolio is something you create every day, not because you're going to design it every day, but with the notes that you write down after a meeting. Oh, this is what was the outcome of the meeting. When you now want to put it in your portfolio website or whatever, you don't need to start racking your brain. Why did I make this decision again? You just go to the documents and you see exactly why you wrote that thing down, right? So keep a good document, stay curious. What else can I say? Find time to create outside your work. It's so important because design is a subjective field, right? It's fortunate and unfortunate, So I can say this is a pretty wristwatch and you can say it's not a pretty wristwatch, right? And it's a wristwatch that was designed, right? So even the best designers find themselves in situations where they do not feel good enough, because in product design and corporate world, so many things influence design. Design can be very political sometimes, right? Because everyone is still the product, the customers are still going to figure out how to make the app work and things like that. So the CEO is invested, the product manager is invested, your engineers are invested, right? So if you do not have a space where you're creating something that belongs to you, all your validation is going to be coming from people who are optimizing for things that are not what you're optimizing for, right? They can be optimizing for money. And if your work is impacting the financial statements of the company, then it doesn't fully belong to you, because so many things are going to go into the decision that is made, right? But if you take 2 minutes, not 2 minutes, maybe 2 hours a day, a week, collaborate on something with someone, work on something outside that, when someone at the office is telling you, this thing doesn't look good, you wouldn't internalize it and say, okay, I'm not a good designer, because there's something else that is blossoming, that is also your creation, and you can always rely on that as well for validation. So to shorten it, be curious, document things, and find ways to create outside work. Extremely important.
Let me just add into that. They should also buy your book.
And they should all, of course.
Yes.
They should also buy my books.
Because everything she says right now, she's summarizing it. But when you buy her book, all the details are in there. So in a world of AI, how do you feel design will evolve within the next 5 years, let's say?
I think the best designers would be designers who are able to leverage AI. I could talk about AI all day, by the way. But yeah, like I mentioned, AI is not here to replace anyone. It's really because whether or not you are using AI, someone else is, right? So you can always use it to enhance yourself, to teach yourself, to make the things that you're doing quicker and faster. And I think a big misconception when people think about AI's replacement or of design and work or all of those things is they see it as, for example, you have two designers, right? One is a brand designer and one is a product designer. Now, the brand designer is not a product designer and vice versa, but both of them have access to AI because AI has democratized everything. Access is no longer the issue, right? However, the product designer might be working on a project and they need a brand work associated. Maybe they need to do something with motion, right? And they do not have the nitty-gritty of the skill to create motion out of what they're trying to do, right? And the brand designer might be wanting to prototype something that they do not have that skill yet, right? The brand designer can use AI, can leverage AI to create the prototypes that they need, and the product designer can leverage AI to create the motion that they need. No one has replaced anyone. But you just have two designers that have been able to create more because they have both been able to use a tool properly, right? So like I said, it's really about your purpose, your why. The access is no longer the issue. So you need to keep educating yourself, keep getting inspiration outside the digital world. Go to art shows, go to theater shows, read books, read mags, like anything you want to still ensure that you're, investing in your creative bank. And then what you now do is to use AI to speeding those things up, to hasten everything up. But really, the next couple of years, what we're going to see is more people who are able to create more and more people who are going to be more autonomous because of the access that AI has created, as opposed to us having people who, because at the end of the day, even if you have AI that is making processes quicker within organizations, you still need people who are going to, prompt it to do those things, right? So I think we need to embrace it more and really just make the best out of it, as opposed to shying away from it. Because at the end of the day, in all of the design processes, for the exhibition that I had last year, you have from prototyping to user research to creating even the final work. There's even like tools, AI tools now that can literally design a whole website for you, right? Yeah. But at the end of the day, the purpose is still very important. The why, that knowledge is still important in creating the best outcomes. And let's not forget about the ethics as well. The ethics are so important, especially for when you have a world that is diverse, right? So if you're not paying attention to the things that you're putting into AI, you are going to just be creating or training it to disrespect more people. You're going to be training it to overlook more people. I saw a post yesterday where someone was trying to create a picture for their wedding or something like that, and they were asking the tool to make the lady in the picture more beautiful. And what the tool did was take the woman from dark skin to light skin, right?
Oh,
This is
wow.
literally happening in
Yeah.
2025.
Yes.
And I wouldn't blame AI. It's because people are telling AI
That's what's beautiful.
That's what exactly. That's what's beautiful. We need to be very mindful of the things that we put there, the things that we say there, because AI is we're training it as much as it's giving us output. So anything that we want, anything it's saying to us is not because it just created it itself. No, people have
People around it,
put
yeah,
into
influenced
it already. Exactly, they've
Yeah,
influenced
no,
it.
definitely. So let's talk about ours.
Ours.
Yes, ours is a new baby in town.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that project.
In fact, ours is more than a project at this point. That's my life's work, right? And I think, I've been saying, everything that I have been doing for the last couple of years has led me to this moment, right? Because the one thing that I have seen is we're not lacking ambitious people as the world. People are incredibly ambitious. People are working hard. People are learning every day. But the word fulfillment is not something that is used in everyday lingua. You can put 5 people who have earned so much money in tech, for example, they're earning 6 figures and above, but they don't even conceptualize fulfillment because they don't even sell it to our generation. No one is telling our generation about fulfillment.
True.
It's as if it's something that is reserved for someone who is maybe in their 60s because you've lived a full life and now you can say, oh, I am fulfilled. However, as a person standing here in my 20s, I am fulfilled. And it's not because obviously I'm not Jeff Bezos, neither am I Elon or Oprah, I'm none of those. But I am in a position where I own the things that give me purpose, right? I'm in a position where I can choose how I want to live my life. I can choose how I show up into the world. I have the freedom to decide what I do with my time, right? And that makes me fulfilled. And I strongly believe that if I, Mitch, designer babe, who started designer babe without thinking of it as a company and more as trying to share, can say this in 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, millions of people can, right? We also live in a world where, like we're talking about just before we started recording, if you're not flying down from one place to the other, maybe your content is not good enough. But the reality is that not all creative people need to be content creators. And I'm going to stand by that forever, because creation goes beyond creating content, right? Creation is the ability to build something. All creative people can be creators, but not all creators should be content creators, right? And I think we live in a world where it's being marketed to us like everybody needs to quit their job and become a content creator. But not everyone is going to become a rich person from being a content creator. And that's the truth. So how can we also show that creatives can still own something, can still build wealth without having to dance on social media, right? And that's something that I've been asking myself over and over again. Because for me, for example, I've been doing this thing for years, even before it became content creation. So if I'm hearing that after 7 years of sharing online, I still need to dance just to have 100,000 views. It doesn't make sense to me, right? It could make sense to someone who started last week or started last year that, oh, maybe if I dance a little bit more, I will get the views that I need and I'm going to become rich. But I've been doing this long enough now. I can't, how long would it have to take me at this point? So I have to keep thinking, what can I do? Because I know that the same way I feel this, there are people who can feel it as well, but they don't even know what to name it yet.
True.
Right? So I did have sleepless nights trying to figure out how to connect all the different dots that are already available to me and create an opportunity from that, right? I have almost a decade of experience working in fintech companies. I've worked with Flutterwave, I've worked with Wise, I was with Ledger. Ledger is one of the biggest Web3 companies as well. And I didn't just go there passing through there. I impacted those companies and I have learned so much from them. So I had, okay, what can I take out of this, right? And mind you, when I got into tech, as at how many years ago, all the things people were doing, they sounded very foreign to me. But now that I've spent more time in the industry, I realized that people have done more with less, right? People are doing more with less. So it's a question of why not me? Why not us? Why not now, right? So for me, ours is really creating a future that people do not even know they need yet, but they would know very soon that they need it because it's inevitable and it's already existing, right? So where are we going to learn? Because learning is the way in, right? But learning shouldn't just stop at learning. And now learning is put in a position where it's like, oh, learn this skill, learn this tech skill, and the next five weeks you are a product designer earning X amount of money. It's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's a lie. You know, because people are constantly messaging me, I have this certificate, I have that certificate, but they can't translate that certificate into income. Neither can companies. You know, companies are still relying on degrees to hire people, whereas we have loads of people who have created careers from themselves from non-traditional backgrounds, right? So there's a disconnect somewhere, right? It cannot just be about certificate, neither can it be about degree. So how can we show that someone has the skill that they say that they have, and that is evident to the people who need to hire them, and they can hire them, but it doesn't now end there. It's not a case of, okay, after you've gotten a job, because people have jobs, but are they fulfilled? How can we now take that from learning to income to fulfillment? And that's what ours is, right? So do you need to say more?
No, you can definitely continue because I'm learning also. Yes.
Yeah. So for us, it's a big promise. Fulfillment is a big promise because we're talking about something people can't yet identify, but I'm willing to do anything that it takes. I mean, anything legal that it takes to make sure that it's created, because I believe 100% that it needs to exist, right? So that ecosystem, you can learn. Someone asks me, why can't I just ask ChatGPT? And I'm like, yeah, you can ask ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is not going to give you the community. Neither is it going to give you the ecosystem. I'm creating a world where you are going to learn, you are going to earn, you're going to collaborate with people, you're going to leverage your time, and you're going to own it, because that ownership, like I said, is very, very important.
Very important,
right?
yes.
So instead of saying to people, you need to create a place where you own something, I'm creating this space where you can do those things that belong to you, and it is all going to be verified on the blockchain. And I think when people hear blockchain, they hear crypto, but blockchain isn't crypto, right? I mean, crypto is one of the things that is an offset of it, but it's not all it is, right? There are verified skills on the blockchain where nothing can tamper with it, nothing can happen to it, and now you can see that, yes, this person says they are a level 5 designer on ours, you know exactly what to expect from a level 5 designer on ours, because they did not attain that level just by doing nothing. Ours has scrutinized them and given them the challenges that they need to prove that they are a level 5 designer on ours. And that is also verified on the blockchain, right? This is not a certificate. This is a proof of skill, simple and as that. And that person can earn money for that. That person can also translate that into a collaboration with someone else, and that thing belongs to them, right? And what I see is just a new world of people who feel happier and not feeling like they have to chase validation from systems that are outdated or systems that are not working for them. They feel like the purpose and the waking up in the morning is they're, inspired to live their life, not just inspired to make money, because you make money and you realize that it takes more than money to actually be joyful and live a life where you are truly proud of yourself. And all I can say is, in 2 years' time, it's going to look really amazing.
We need to watch this space.
Yeah.
Definitely. So for just these few minutes that we've had this conversation, what I get from you is you are very confident. You are very beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
And you speak with so much inspiration, right? Which I love, right? So for young Black women who are looking to get into tech, right? Who are looking at you and saying, I want to be like her, or I aspire to be like her. What advice would you give them? They want to get into tech, for instance, or within any background that they want to get into.
One thing is, do not hold yourself back and do not wait for permission, right? I'm the person that I am today because I have never waited for permission. Never. Like, even when I remember my first job, my first full-time job, I was offered a role and I was offered salary. And I looked at the amount that they were offering me. I did the mathematics. My house to this place is this amount of money is going to cost me. This is not going to cut it. Mind you, I did not have any professional experience. I went into the CEO's office and I said to him, this money is not going to be enough for me. I was literally they were giving me an offer to learn, right? And I mean, it's not every time you go with that audacity that you get everything that you want, but it builds your resilience.
It does.
Because what happens is when you're able to show people that you know where you need to be, even if they cannot see that you are there yet, it challenges them to tell you what you need to do to get where you need to be. And when that becomes clear, it's not a case of, okay, if I know this is what I need to do, then I'm going to do it, right? So never wait for permission, right? Don't wait for permission or validation or someone saying to you that, yes, you are ready now. Make yourself ready. Make that opportunity for yourself, go after the things that you want. More times than not, you would get rejected. More times than not.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. It's okay. You just, rejection is okay. Like, I didn't happen. I'll go this way.
Divert you to something else.
I'll just go this way. It's not anything that would kill me at this point, right? So I think it's a very, very important thing because especially as women, and African women especially, we are taught that we deserve to be picked, right? Just wait. Someone is going to pick you from wherever you are. It's a lie. I mean, people that will pick you are picking you in a place where you are, but not picking you from a place where you are supposed to be. So you need to get yourself to the place where you're supposed to be, and that power lies with you, right? And another thing is, don't let people tell you who you are. Everyone has opinions of who you are, who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing. Don't listen to them. The person that you are, know it for yourself inside. And even if you don't exactly match that person yet, the fact that you know it means that it's possible. There's already a version of yourself who is that person, right? So figure out what you need to do to match those two realities together. But do not listen to what people are saying here and there, because if you listen to them, you just find yourself moving from one end to the other, and that just exerts your energy, but it doesn't really translate into any real value for you. Yeah.
Sure. Oh, thank you for that. That also touched me, honestly. That really did touch me. Thank you so much. I'm having a very lovely conversation.
Me too.
Honestly, I'm enjoying this conversation, but we're just about to round up the podcast. And I have with me a card game. Ooh. It is from Doors of Society. Our good friends sent us this. And so we're going to play this today. Just going to do it one question. And I'm going to ask you to pick a card.
From anywhere?
Yeah.
Pick a middle one.
Okay, so what does the card say?
When was the last time I felt rejected? This question now just gave me two things to think about.
Yes.
Which is, I haven't pushed hard enough.
Yeah.
Because I actually can't remember the last time that I felt rejected. Maybe I'm not eating more than I can chew yet.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's what I need to take out of this. I need to go after things and, because I can't really remember the last time that I felt, or maybe I just don't I don't see rejection as a feeling anymore.
Yes.
A lot of things haven't gone the way that I wanted it to go. But like I mentioned, a place where rejection right now to me is because I have a lot of things on my plate. You can see that I have a lot of things that I do on a daily basis. So anytime something doesn't go how I want it to go, I don't see it as a rejection anymore. I just see it as more time for myself to do other things. That's really where I am right now. But I also take it from this that maybe I also need to push for more as well and, expand my coast even further. Right. So I think those are my two answers.
Yeah. And obviously they're both answers. I like the fact that you said that I think rejection is a diversion, right? You're probably not supposed to be there at that particular point, and then it diverts you to another situation. Or, you're just not meant to either work with that person or be in that room and stuff like that. So I honestly don't see rejection as failure, to be honest.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I don't ruminate on rejection anymore, really. Maybe I have to send a message to Beyonce.
Do you want to pick another one?
Yes. Ooh, who understands me the most? Definitely my best friend, Tolu. She understands me.
How long have you guys been best friends for?
We've been best friends since maybe 2018. Yeah, we worked together, and I literally first started with my friend.
Yes.
I treat friendships like if I want something, I go for it. So she was very incredibly smart girl. She's a software engineer, now an engineering manager. But at the time, we used to work together in the same company, and she was sitting opposite me. She didn't used to talk much, and you can see I like talking. So I always used to like talk to her. She would just be like, "This girl is disturbing me. Why do you want to know these things about me?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"But we are working together. I need to know about you." But then I didn't even realize that we had started to create a relationship until I think at the time the company they used to give us breakfast, right? And I don't think there's something called pap, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't like pap at the time. But then there was this particular morning, I took pap and I don't remember what was accompanying the pap. And she saw me holding it and she was like, "Why are you taking pap?" And I was like, "Just mind your business." And she said to me, "But you are my business." And I said, And that was when it clicks that, okay, I guess this person actually sees me as someone who is important to them. And literally ever since then, she understands the things that I don't even have to say. Even in my silence, she knows exactly what I'm thinking. She's always there, always supportive. She's one of the reasons I work as hard as I work, so that I can be able to, fly her to anywhere she wants to go anytime.
Yeah. Now, when you speak about her, you light up.
I do, right?
Yes, you do. I like that. That's really good. Well, Mitch, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Your journey has probably inspired people out there. Your story is very phenomenal. It has inspired me. Honestly, the things that you said have touched me. So thank you so much for joining us today. How can people reach you? Your social media network?
Social media, designer babe, designer babe, designer babe.
Yes.
And future is ours, future is ours, future is ours.
Yes, designer babe, guys.
Yes, designer babe.
Well, neighbors, I hope you had a good time as much as I did. Until next time, bye.
Bye.